Avenue, what happened moments before the incident and what's next for the restaurant. A new innovation hub is coming to Toledo. Now 4 businesses are moving into the Jefferson Center.
Well, this cold and dry weather is going to continue Friday into Saturday, but a slow and steady warm-up that will take us into the end of the weekend, reaching above freezing by Sunday. How warm will it get and how long will it last? I'll have my full 10-day forecast coming out.
Thanks for joining us on WTOL 11 News on Plus. I'm Kaylee Marin. Let's get to your top stories for this Thursday night. A man responsible for last year's killing of another man in Swanton will spend more than a decade behind bars. Edward Polinsky Jr. was sentenced today to 16 to 21 years in prison. He shot and killed John Wolf. Wolf's family attended today's sentencing wearing shirts with his face on them, and they also brought Wolf's ashes. The family says he was a loving father and has 2 sons. Polinsky spoke at the hearing, saying he didn't want any of this to happen and apologized to the family.
I don't think anything that Joy was going to get was going to make us happy, because my brother's never coming back, and he's a menace to society.
Wolf was found shot dead inside of a vehicle in Swanton in March of last year. Court records indicate Polinsky pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of involuntary manslaughter. He was originally indicted on 10 felony counts, including murder. What you saw there was security footage of a driver smashing through the side of a Wingstop in Oregon. Thankfully, it wasn't open yet, so no one was inside. Ryan Lucien has the details.
911, where's your emergency? There was a car that just ran into the Wingstop.
Navarre Avenue at the Wingstop, a car just went into the building.
Wingstop on Navarre. A car just crashed into Wingstop on Navarre.
Hello? Hello? Where's your emergency? Hello? I just crashed off the road and crashed right into Wingstop's windows. Wingstop where? Yeah, the Wingstop on Oregon. I'm literally, my car is in their store.
Just before 9 this morning, a car lost control on Navarre, jumping the curb and crashing into the Oregon Wingstop. A few hours later, it could have been a tragedy. Instead, it's a mess for Wingstop's Esau Verdon to clean up.
Operations manager called me earlier, say watch the footage. So once I log into the footage, I saw the car was already inside. I was like in shock. I was like, how did this happen? Like, how did a car, get so much speed to come in here? But I guess it happened.
Luckily, as workers weren't scheduled to come in until 9 to start up the fryers, no one was in the building at the time of the crash, and no one in the car was injured.
Glad that no one was hurt.
Yeah, I'm glad nobody was here. Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Now that the car has been removed, Verdon says they will be boarding up the location to pick up the pieces and working hard to build a new Wingstop for Oregon.
We're going to try to open it as soon as possible. Obviously, there's a lot of damage to the walls, the equipment. So, obviously it's going to have to be ordered, and we're going to have to redo the whole thing.
Repairs to the Wingstop are expected to take about a month. An investigation is now underway after a person was found dead in Williams County. According to the Williams County Sheriff's Office, they received a call last week that a body was found lying near a business parking lot just off of US 127. Officers arrived and found a man dead. The sheriff's office tells WTOL 11 the man has been identified as 46-year-old Matthew Krenzlak. It's still unclear how he died. 4 people were rescued after falling through the ice on Lake Erie today. It happened near Catawba Island. Officials with the Catawba Island Volunteer Fire Department say they responded to 2 separate calls for multiple ice fishermen who fell through the ice. The first call was just before 8 o'clock this morning for 2 who had fallen in. Police say a bystander with an airboat rescued them and brought them back to shore. Then the U.S. Coast Guard station at Marblehead received a report just before 10 this morning for another 2 who had fallen through the ice with their ATV. The Coast Guard says those 2 people were able to rescue themselves and shelter in an ice shanty before crews got to them. The historic Jefferson Center has been around for more than 100 years. Now it will be home to 4 new high-tech businesses. Bitwise Industries, a California tech business, eyed up the building for four years ago. However, there was a change of plans after the company and its owner ran into legal issues and went to jail. Now 4 businesses, Vortex, Segula Technologies USA, Junior Achievement, and WorkSpring, will move into the Innovation Post. Brandon Selhorst, Toledo's Commissioner of Economic Development, says it's one of the largest job creation projects so far this year.
When you have 170, high-paying jobs in this space, what that does for residential units in and around this area, restaurants and small businesses on Adams Street, for example, this is going to hopefully re-energize this area, and that's exactly what we wanted to do with this project.
The project is partially funded by a $20 million grant. Roughly 170 jobs are expected to be brought to the Toledo area because of this hub. Right now, we want to get a look at unemployment claims here in the Buckeye State. The Ohio Department of Job and Family Services says Ohioans filed more than 6,000 initial unemployment claims last week. As for continued unemployment claims, there were more than 69,000. The total number of claims for the state is more than 75,000 claims. It was a key campaign promise for Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Now there is another idea on how to fix the roads. The governor is reportedly looking at marijuana sales to patch potholes. Right now there is a 10% excise tax and a 6% sales tax. Governor Whitmer is proposing a 32% wholesale tax on cannabis products, but some of the industry say it could do more harm than good, especially for those who use medicinal marijuana.
Fortunately for a lot of people with those taxes, they might have to turn back to the black market because they just will not be able to afford the taxes and their medication.
Officials say Governor Whitmer's tax plan could bring in $470 million a year for road repairs.
So let's break down the next couple of days. Friday, Saturday into Sunday. We're going to be below freezing Friday, upper 20s. Some sun returns through the day Saturday. Should have had a high close to 30 degrees. And then it's toward the end of the weekend Sunday. I'm going to be looking forward to this, the slow and steady thaw that's going to be taking place. And I'll show you how long it's going to last and how warm it will get. Doppler radar, it is drying out. We've had some snow showers and flurries along the lakeshore and east of Toledo. A couple flurries still moving across southern Michigan and northwest Ohio. But at this point, nothing that's expected to accumulate. It's certainly cold enough, though, and another day of below freezing temperatures. We're now in the low to mid 20s across much of the area. And with the recent cold weather, did want to share this new data with you with the ice coverage on Lake Erie. Now over 90% ice coverage. So let me give you a number here. That is about 9,253 square miles of ice on Lake Erie. We've now reached the maximum ice cover that we've seen, at least so far this season. And a quick peek up toward Lake St. Clair, that is now considered 100% ice covered. Great Lakes, though, it is a very large area, and the Great Lakes combined, of course, with Lake Erie being the shallowest, it has more of an idea that it can freeze over a little bit quicker than normal compared to Lake Michigan or Superior, which are deeper and larger lakes. About 40% ice coverage on all of the Great Lakes combined. And here's what's ahead. We're going to be thawing out in our 10-day forecast, heading toward 40 degrees as we get into early next week. Now, it was a busy morning with some school delays and closures at this point. We are green and we're not expecting any of those additional closures overnight tonight or into Friday, even as a few flurries wrap up over downtown Toledo. So where are we going to go temperature-wise? Cold again into Friday morning, back into the low to mid-teens. Highs into the afternoon, right around the upper 20s, and into Saturday, teens to near 20 degrees early in the day, and then highs with a southwest wind. Some sunshine works out, gets close to 30 degrees. Here's the outlook for Friday. We start in the teens. We'll end up in the upper 20s, mixed clouds and sunshine. And our 10-day forecast says Saturday's high right around 30, mid-30s on Sunday. There it is, 40 degrees on Monday. Could come with a few sprinkles, and 40 stick around early next week, Tuesday into Wednesday, as we get through the end of February. Back over to you, Kaylee.
All right, thanks, Chris. Toledo crews will be switching from targeting ice and snow to targeting potholes in the next week. The city's director of transportation says all the equipment is ready. They're just waiting for the temperatures to rise. The city only has access to cold patch right now, and it won't be until April before the hot asphalt will be available. Crews are prepared for more potholes to pop up with the warmer weather. And if you notice any, you can report them to the city.
We do encourage people to call Engage Toledo, report those potholes to us, because what we will do is we're going to start mapping those. So when we get crews out there, they'll focus on those maps with those call-ins that we get from Engage Toledo.
The director of transportation for the city says a crew will be kept available to help should there be a water main break. A vacant lot on Executive Parkway in West Toledo could be the home to a new fast food restaurant. A developer has requested permission to change the zoning of 3 of the city's lots between where Culver sits now and Secor Road. The name of the restaurant has not been released, but the developer says it could be similar to a Raising Cane's or Dunkin' Donuts. Members of council expressed concerns about an increase of traffic in that area at its Wednesday meeting. No decision was made, but we'll keep you posted. Grab your forks and make sure you come hungry because Restaurant Week Toledo kicks off this upcoming Monday. For 1 week only, you can enjoy delicious meals at special prices from dozens of the Glass City's best locally owned restaurants. Not only that, it's all for a great cause. A portion of the proceeds from each meal will be donated to Leadership Toledo's tuition-free youth programs. Welcoming a new baby into the family can be exciting, but sometimes unexpected challenges arise. That was the reality for one Toledo family who learned their daughter had a serious heart condition. Andre Norrell shares their journey.
You might catch 5-year-old Nora Clay with Super Nora.
She'd go, "There's heart disease over there," and run and start kicking and fighting the air. And
to Nora, it's more than a toy.
It's like me, but she has a heart in her wrist.
When Nora's mom, Nicole Vargas, was pregnant, everything seemed normal, even when she went into labor.
Everything went perfectly as far as what you would hope for.
But shortly after Nora's birth, the doctors had news no parent wants to hear. Like nearly 1 in 100 infants, Nora was diagnosed with congenital heart disease.
Tetralogy of Fallot with pulmonary atresia and a VSD. She had the 4 defects around her heart. She's missing her pulmonary valve, and her pulmonary artery it's severely undersized.
Nora had her first open heart surgery at 5 days old. Doctors put a temporary shunt in her heart.
They had to put that wire in to even just keep her ductus open, because if that would have closed, her heart would not have been able to pump the blood and oxygen and things that it needed to do in order to survive.
Nora came home at 2 weeks old, but her dad, Aaron Clay, says it was important for his daughter not to get sick or throw tantrums.
Because of the shunting of the blood, because the VSD was not patched at this point, so they were worried about the blood mixing.
Nicole and Aaron stayed home for months, carefully taking care of Nora.
Made sure that she got bigger and stronger for her next surgery, because that was in September then at 5 months old when she was ready for her next one.
She went through her next surgery and it went well. Years later, she's able to do what any other kid can do, swim and get excited for those special moments at school.
Do recess, and when you're hungry, you can do lunch.
Recess and lunch.
She has a scar from her surgeries left on her chest, but in this household, it's not a negative.
Don't be ashamed of it. Know that that is a sign of strength and everything that you have endured and that you've been through.
For Super Nora, the word heart has a whole new meaning, and one she probably learned to spell sooner than others.
H-E-A-R-T.
Andre Norrell, WTOL 11.
That's how you spell heart.
Good job. Good job.
Well, Perrysburg Elementary School is celebrating the arrival of its newest friend. Frank Elementary School had an adoption party today for its new facility dog named Liv. She was showing off tricks with her dog friend Kincaid, who is a facility dog at Whole Prairie Intermediate. Liv's handlers educated the students about what to expect and how to treat Liv. The adoption was possible due to a sponsorship from Yark Chevrolet and the Yark Automotive Group.
Today's day and age, I feel like mental health is something that is really impacting kids, and just seeing the impact that this dog has being here firsthand is really awesome. You know, de-stressing kids,